Conversations this morning, in fact, with donors who said, you can count on us, we are there for you. One of them clearly indicated that he was probably going to do even more than he had committed to in the past. He recognizes that there's clearly issues here that need to be dealt with, but he really, and others have expressed to me a tremendous commitment to joining really with me and others to try to move things forward. And I not only look at that as a positive in terms of their financial support, but also in terms of their engagement with faculty and students and everything else. So I really think it's important. I have received, obviously, some messages from people who said they're going to withhold their support. I don't agree with that. And I understand the reason. I completely understand the reason. And I respect their right to do that. But I don't agree with it because, you know, I think that there are other ways to perhaps achieve their end. And really, if a significant amount of financial support is withheld from the university, you're only hurting, frankly, students and faculty and staff. You know, those donations are critical to the academic mission, and they're critical to the execution of the overall mission of the university. And I would hope that at a time like this, that people who are unhappy would, if they want to express their unhappiness to me, and I can work to try to improve board university engagement. If they're unhappy with the structuring of the board, that's a legislative governor issue. Go ahead and do that. But I would hope that they would stick with us and realize that the resources that they provide us are doing so much good in terms of moving us forward with the university's mission.
A little over 2 months from now, a new group of UVA students will arrive on grounds, a new group of UVA parents, maybe the first-time parents. Would you include continuing the traditions that former President Castine did and for the last 2 years President Sullivan did? You would have a meeting in Cavalier Hall with parents. How would you describe the incidents of June once we get to August to those students? And when it comes to imbuing new students with the honor traditions of UVA, how would you describe the incidents of this period in June to them?
You know, I probably need a little bit more time to think about that, okay? I have not thought about what I'm going to say in Cavalier Hall in 2 months. You know, I think that the important thing is that I would emphasize that UVA has been around for almost 200 years. This is a great institution filled with great people, and that the new students who come here and their families are still part of a great community. You know, we've had a problem, okay? We've had a major problem, and I'm not denying that. And it is an issue that needs to be addressed and resolved at multiple levels. But at the end of the day, you know, this is still a university with great faculty, with great students, with great programs, with great health facilities. And I really trust, one of the first phone calls, maybe the first phone call I made last night, when I got off the plane, was to the chair of the honor committee, and he and I had a I think a very positive conversation about when the students get back, what could we do to engage students in understanding this problem and really working through this particular problem. And he expressed, I think, not only support but enthusiasm for working with me and other members of the university's leadership to get students engaged and move forward. And I think that the students are the ones who are usually the forward-looking optimists in many ways. I remember walking into the classroom after 9/11 and being obviously distraught at the entire situation. And it was the optimism and the energy of students, frankly, that brought me back at a devastating time, obviously. And I suspect that the students will get here, and they will bring the same energy and optimism. They may not agree with the decision. They may not like the process. But I think that in some ways they will want to take control of their own fate, their own destiny. They're part of the university, and continue to move things forward.
So have you spoken with President Sullivan?
I've emailed with her several times, but I have not. She's been out of town when I've been in town briefly, and when she was here, I was out of town. So we have not talked directly, but we've set up. We've made a commitment to get together as soon as possible, and I look forward to doing so.
One last question here.
Paul Spencer from the Hook again. I realize this is your press conference, but one of the things you said to us at the outset was that Provost Simon has apparently reversed himself, and I wonder if he could stand up and indicate why he's agreed to stay on after vowing to resign if the Board of Visitors did not do the right thing.
I believe if you read the statement, I didn't vow to resign.
I've been telling people that.
I think I vowed to let the actions determine what I would do. At this point in time, I spent the morning with Carl. We talked a lot about the university, the future of the university, and I have committed to work with Carl to move this university forward while he is in this role.
Any question?
So does that mean you intend to stay at the university beyond the interim presidency as well?
I made it very clear to the rector, and I believe this. I believe that every administration, every president of the university, long-term permanent president, has the right and should have the right to choose their own leadership team. So I actually feel whether I wish to stay or not at that point, that person should have the right to have a team with them that they trust, that they want to move the institution forward. And I think it's important actually that when that time comes, I offer that ability to that person. If that person wishes me to continue, and I feel it's the type of person that I would like to work with, then it would be my intention to remain at the university. But I think it's something that any incoming president should expect from senior leadership.
All right, no more questions? Wait a second. I have one more question. Let Dan ask the question.
Let me use my.
Go ahead and talk loud.
On the spectrum of interim presidencies, from like caretaker, keep the chair warm, keep the trains running on time, to making all the tough decisions so your successor won't have to, where do you expect to fall on that spectrum?
Probably the best way to answer that question, this is not my first interim gig. I was interim dean for about 1.5 years at the Keenan Flagler Business School at UNC. And I think that during that time I was on the right end of that continuum. I was on the activist, make decisions, move things forward end of that continuum. And that's my intention here is to do everything I can to work with the senior leadership team of the university, whether it's academic or fundraising, new financial model, whatever it happens to be, to move as smartly and as aggressively as we can forward with those activities. One of the things that actually President Sullivan mentioned in her remarks is that the deans and the provost have a number of initiatives that I would say are in the early planning stages, but we have a commitment to them around pan-university activities. focused in leadership, in entrepreneurship, in sustainability, in data analytics, big data as it's called. And I would hope that I can work again with the senior leadership team on the academic side, on the financial side, and on the fundraising side to start us really moving along on those issues. I think that the online issue, we can't wait on that. We really need to dig into that and decide, what is the best match for the University of Virginia? What Stanford does or what MIT does may not be right for us. And so I think we need to dig into that. And so, that's what I do. That's what I'd like to do. And I really look forward to working with the faculty and the department heads and the deans to figure out what's the right thing to do there. So I would put myself in the activist thing.
Is it a quick one, Sandy?
Yeah. What is
Okay.
your relationship with Bob McDonnell, if any?
I've met the governor. I know him a little bit. I have had, a few conversations with him. We both went to undergraduate school at Notre Dame, so we can talk Notre Dame football pretty easily. But we've had brief conversations, but I don't have a close working relationship with him.
And then one last question over here.
Sir, former board member Sid Dorsey has expressed, having serious concerns about your commitment to diversity. What do you say to that?
Okay, that's the first time I've ever heard that.
It was in our paper this morning.
Okay. Well, no offense, but I didn't read that paper. I can tell you that when I was at Chapel Hill, the MBA students there started a diversity award, and I was the first person to ever receive it. I can tell you that since I've been here, I've done everything in my power to build a school in terms of faculty and students that is as a diverse environment as possible. I think that if you look at the school, for example, overall the university is 7% international students, and the undergraduate program is now 23%, something like that, about 23%. Our graduate programs are in the range of a quarter. If you look at gender diversity, I can guarantee you women are well represented in this school. If you look at racial and ethnic diversity, I believe we've made tremendous progress in terms of Asian American, Hispanic. The one area that we struggle in, but we are not unique in terms of business schools, is African American students, and that is something that particularly our undergraduate program deans are working very hard on. One of the things that we do, for example, is we support the mentoring and tutoring program, I believe, through the Office of African American Affairs, in an effort to both create interest among the students as well as to adequately prepare them for the admissions process that you go through to get in here. So I'm very sorry to hear that she had a question about that, because that's something that is absolutely contradictory, I think, to the facts.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you very much for coming, and thank you.
Thank you.